programs that we have, CUNY Lead, Project Reach, and CUNY Leads Plus. And I've got my great co-presenter, Bethany Lalonde. She's joining us from CSI, where she is the CUNY Leads job developer.
Yes, thanks, Jenna. And thank you all for being here. We really appreciate your interest in our programs. We're going to give you some information on our slides, and then we'll definitely have time at the end for questions. But also feel free, if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat, or at the end we can have an open discussion. So thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Jenna.
Sorry. So I'll just give a little overview, and then I'll turn over to Bethany for the Leads part. So CUNY Leads stands for Linking Employment, Academics, and Disability Services. And this is our sort of signature program that's been around for over 10 years on all undergrad CUNY campuses. It really helps students to prepare for their careers while they're in school, focusing on internships, job readiness, and Bethany is our expert. We'll talk about that. Project Reach is an autism program that right now has programs on 5 campuses. We are expanding, and the models are different depending on the campus, but the goal is to support autistic students at CUNY. We've had a growing population for the past 10 or so years, and this is a grant program which allows us to expand our support. And then CUNY Leads Plus is our newest program in partnership with Access VR that Bethany will also talk more about. It's an extension of Lead services, but for those students who could use an extra layer of support. And just quickly, the reason why we got into all of this is because of the huge disability employment gap. Working age people with disabilities in New York are employed at a rate of 34% versus 80% for their non-disabled peers, and have a higher poverty rate as well. But we know also from the statistics that college is a pathway to employment. So you can see that with no disability, the employment rates get higher as you go from all education to some college to having a bachelor's degree. And then with any disability, that number drops, but increases as you have more education. We are, all right, I'll turn over to Bethany.
Thanks, Jenna. So once again, CUNY Leads is our signature program. It is a university-wide initiative. It was established about 12 years ago, and right now we're on all of the undergraduate CUNY campuses. We're also working with the graduate programs. We don't have a direct advisor assigned to each graduate school, but we are trying to get more involved. So any CUNY campus can really benefit from the CUNY Leads program. As I mentioned before, it's a program for facilitating successful academic and career outcomes for students with disabilities. We do encourage students to connect with their campus accessibility or disability service office. So, I mean, we have very close partnerships with those offices. Many of our advisors are located within that office. We also work with within our career centers on campus, and some of our advisors are part of their career centers. So we really try to bridge that gap for students who need a little extra support with their academics, their disability accommodations, and also helping them find meaningful internships and employment while they're in college and even after college. So this program is very unique. It's free, and it's also something that can continue beyond after the student leaves the college. CUNY Leads is a program that tries to provide that continuous support for many of those students. So these are some of the services that our Leads advisors can provide. Again, we meet the student where they're at, so we're not going to say that these are the only services, but for the most part, we do a lot of work in terms of preparing them for jobs and internships by helping them develop a resume, write a cover letter, helping them figure out how to disclose a disability during an interview, request accommodations. We also work with Access VR and the New York State Commission for the Blind. So a lot of students who are receiving those supports can also benefit from leads because we work with them and their counselors to make sure that they receive everything that they need. We also have partnerships throughout our community and throughout the city. So the job developers who are part of CUNY Leads, which is my program, we work with employers and try to facilitate opportunities for the students and also help educate our employers because we want them to understand what they need to do in terms of accommodating a student with a disability and also be a little bit more sensitive to some of the other needs that might come up. So our program really does this very much holistic approach to help students and graduates of CUNY programs who might need that little extra boost. So Leeds, as we said, has advisors on 19 campuses right now. All of those are located within the 5 boroughs, obviously throughout CUNY. And we have a job developer, one for each borough. So using that model, we have the advisor who really helps prepare the student for the employment opportunities. And then we have the job developer who works with the student once they are job ready. And again, I kind of jumped on this one. Most of the CUNY Leads programs are connected with their disability service office or accessibility office. However, we do have career service involvement as well. And students do not have to be registered with their accessibility or disability service office. So we don't make that a requirement, but we do encourage it if the student is seeking other accommodations. So during COVID, we're still operating completely online, as many of the other CUNY programs. We do offer this a new initiative called Leads Online Learning. So every month we have an online panel and different topics related to academic and career development. So the third Thursday from 5 to 6:30 is our Leads Online. And we encourage people to, anyone can join in and listen. We've done virtual interviewing. We just did one on financial literacy this month. So the topics vary, but everything is related in some form to some type of career and or academic development. We also partner with the CUNY Inclusive Athletics at Hostos, the CUNY Coalition for Students with Disabilities, CCSD, and we bring in recruiters for employment opportunities. So we've worked with Travelers Insurance. We've worked with CVS, I think was part of that. So we have different employers who are involved with recruiting our students directly. And then we also host our own programs on each of our campuses. We bring in employers and we hold Disability Awareness Month every April. So we really try to incorporate this throughout the year, throughout all the campuses. And once again, our success rate is quite high. 70% of CUNY Lead students find employment within 18 months of graduation. Again, I know things are a little bit different now with the pandemic, so you know this statistic may vary, but for the most part, we really try to make sure that our students, our recent graduates, have the best preparation, the best connections, and are able to make these connections and opportunities while they're in school and then once they leave.
No, thank you, Bethany. I'm just going to talk quickly about Project Reach, and then I will turn it back over to you for some Leads Plus. So Project Reach, it's a university-wide initiative, but is structured with mini grants on different campuses, and it's all about supporting our growing population of students on the autism spectrum, and also working to educate faculty and staff about ASD and the different challenges that these students might face. So they could have different unique needs, but that's part of CUNY's mission, of course, to provide higher ed opportunities to all students. So the Project Reach programs are at BMCC, and they all kind of have different names depending on the campus. At BMCC, it's called Progressing Autism Spectrum Services, or PASS. And there they have a Reach coordinator who works with students. And the programs really focus on providing kind of that extra executive functioning support, helping students staying on track of their assignments, going through the syllabi, um, different, could be social integration, helping students get involved on campus or deal with their professors. Um, so then the rest of the programs are Brooklyn College, where it's CASP, College of Staten Island, as Bethany mentioned, the Building Bridges Initiative. Kingsborough Community College is Transition to College Support, and LaGuardia Community College is the LaGuardia Neurodiversity Program, which is formerly called ASSIST. But I will give you the website at the end, and you'll be able to look up all the contact information for the directors if you're interested in learning more about any of these specific programs. Or you could also contact me.
So as Jenna mentioned, we're going to close this out with our CUNY Leads Plus. And CUNY Leads Plus is a new initiative supporting our students who are on CUNY campuses and also working in conjunction with Access VR. So Leads Plus is a newer program. I'd say within the last 2 years, we've started it up. So we're still working to try to get it more of a focus on other campuses, but right now it's only in a few select campuses. And the goal of this program is to really help students who might need that more soft skills approach to work, understanding some of the nuances of being in an employment setting, and also, helping them find this individualized support while they're on campus. God bless. So, we want to make sure that students who are using Leads Plus are, getting this one-on-one support. They meet with their Plus advisor every week. They have these targeted workshops and programming opportunities to help them prepare for employment and also maintain their success while they're in college. So this program is only on 5 campuses right now. Once again, like Reach, it's only targeting a select few. We have it at Bronx Community College, the College of Staten Island, Gutman Community College in Manhattan, Kingsborough Community College, as well as Queensborough Community College. So on those 5 campuses, there is a Leads Plus advisor who is able to work with up to 20 students and really help them figure out what they need to do to be successful in class and outside of class, and also prepare for internships and employment opportunities. The goal of this program really is to help students be more self-aware, setting goals, being able to self-advocate, using the assistance of their Leads Plus advisor, and as well as tracking their progress, not only academically, but also in terms of their ability to work with others, network, and also explore different career paths. Ultimately, the goal is to help them prepare for jobs and internships. And, that's something that the Leads Plus advisor is really targeting each student and helping them at the level that they're at. The eligibility, once again, it must be approved by Access VR. The student must be working with an Access VR counselor, have a college goal, and really be, I guess, approved from that side to make sure that they are within line with what Access VR is doing. Neurodiverse is the target population, but again, this is not just students on the autism spectrum. We look at students who have other cognitive disabilities, students who might have some psychiatric disabilities, really students who would benefit from the additional support, especially in terms of those interpersonal skills and that executive functioning. So for anyone who's interested in Leads Plus, they really should reach out to their Leads advisor, which is on the campus, or their own disability or accessibility office, or our CUNY disability program. So here's our contact info. And you can find us online. You can find us on Twitter, which Jenna's helps us out with. We're also new to, we have a new CUNY Leads page on LinkedIn, which is very helpful. And of course, you can always reach out by email to myself and or Jenna.
Yes, thank you. And we could put that in the chat if anybody.
All right, so I know, and thank you for posting questions. So I guess we'll start with those and then anyone else can chime in. So let's see, I'm just gonna go back up to the top and thank you again for being here. So I'm gonna go to Camilla's question. Is Leads is additional to the on-campus services? So yes, CUNY Leads is provided in addition to the services that are available through a disability or an accessibility service office on campus. So the disability or accessibility office focuses really on the academic accommodations for being in the classroom and for testing. Leads is a support in addition to those services. We do encourage students to sign up for CUNY Leads. Obviously, not all students sign up for CUNY Leads, but we try to get them set up as early as possible. We try to get them, engaged with our advisors when they first start out in college rather than waiting until they finish. But, it's a program that we rely on completely voluntary and we do, we help our students engage at whatever step of the process they're in. Um, the next question is this program in every CUNY campus? So yes, we do provide these services in every CUNY campus. On the undergraduate level, in all 5 boroughs, we have an advisor connected with each campus. For the specific graduate schools, we may not have an advisor specific to that campus, but we are trying to have more of an outreach with those students who might need it in those campuses. The best way to enroll is through either the disability or accessibility office. But again, if a student doesn't want to connect, doesn't want to identify with that office, they can reach out to the CUNY disability programs, or they can, maybe some of the campuses have it through their career services. So there might be that connection. But if you're not sure, if the student isn't sure where to find CUNY Leads, we do have a page on our website with all the advisors' contact information. And I think that's another way for students to just reach out directly. Is this open to any student with an IEP or 504? Yes. So Leads does not require any specific documentation to register or enroll, but we do, serve any student with a disability. So if they are going to enroll in our accessibility or disability office, then they do need some form of documentation. An IEP and a 504 plan are acceptable forms of documentation. Sorry, just so let's see.
I can get the next one about Reach.
Okay.
Carmen asked if Reach would be available in the Bronx. And while we are working on expanding Reach, right now there isn't a Reach campus in the Bronx, but we have served students at Bronx locations. It would be more on an as requested basis where some of the other campuses can serve students from other schools. So if you come across an autistic student who would want support in the Bronx, please have them reach out.
I have a question.
Sure.
Hi. Good
Hi.
morning. So I know that you all spoke about students who have IEPs, and them being able to like take part in the services. But like, let's say a student had an IEP, maybe back in middle school, or maybe like for the first 2 years of high school, and then for some reason they didn't graduate with that IEP. But you as an advisor know that they would benefit from something like this. How would they go about gaining access to services if like if it's no longer a designation as when they enter into college?
It's a good question. I mean, speaking from my own campus's accessibility office, I can say that we do have students who come in sometimes and they I think it's decertified their IEP in high school, but they still want to receive some type of accommodation in college. So if there's a need for an academic accommodation, testing or classroom, there will be a requirement to get some form of documentation, whether a form filled out, signed by a medical professional, or some other type of evaluation. However, for leads, a student doesn't necessarily need to produce any specific documentation. They just have to identify that they have a disability and would like to be a part of the program. So for the students who may not need testing or classroom accommodations, they can still reach out to the CUNY Leads advisor and say, I'd really like to be a part of your program. They may not be a part of their accessibility or disability office, which requires that documentation. But as long as the student can self-identify, we're happy to serve them and help them with whatever they need.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Jenna provided that website in the chat. Thank you, Jenna, which will give information for each campus for the CUNY Leads advisors. So I guess we're running up against, I think, the end of our session here. But please, if anyone does have any additional questions, please feel free to email myself and or Jenna, and we'll be happy to help you with those.
Yes, thank you.